Her name was Mary Meehan, the old soldier. I knew her as Grandma. What I remember about her was how the sun would light up her hair and then crown her head like a halo. Her hair looked like white silk. Her skin was nearly as white, but not sickly or pale. It was just very Irish. If you were to glance at her, you might think that she was frail because of how soft her features were. But when you looked into her deep blue eyes, you could see the soul of an old soldier that fought many battles and won. Every chance I got as a kid, I'd run up to her apartment. See, we lived in the same tenement on the south side of Chicago. When I was 6 years old, she taught me how to play poker. We always had a half-started game of checkers going next to our poker game on the coffee table, just in case we heard Mom coming upstairs. If she did come up, we'd take all the cards and the pennies and just shovel them into the coffee table drawer, and then we'd sit and stare at the checkerboard like, yeah, you've been caught. I remember how she explained that one. Yeah. We're not being deceitful, tricking your mom like that. We're just saving her from the pain of disappointment. 6 years old, I had no idea what the hell she was talking about, but I just knew I was having a good time with my best friend. She was always there for me, whether I needed a shoulder to cry on or a hand to hold. And the way she held my hand, it was like we had our own secret handshake. She would take my hand and then place it in her other hand and very gently pat the back. That's when I knew everything was going to be okay. Early on the day of her passing, I stood in her doorway, trying to get a chance to see her. But at 9 years old, and with a nickname like Skinny T at that time, I was ill-matched to fight off all the elbows and body checks doled out by the adults. But I did fight to see her, and I didn't stop fighting. Not until my great-uncle John grabbed me by the ears. He used to call them skull handles. Picks me up, runs me out, gives me the bum's rush into the hallway. And then he stands over the top of me and yells, "There's no sense in being a child in there. Hell, she's half gone already. You won't even know who the hell you are now. Piss off with the other squirts." I was so furious at him, at God, at her. How could she leave me? I ran off into the kitchen where there were more adults and way too many cousins. Most of them just standing around a table that had crumb cakes and sandwiches, coffee and beer on it. But what I remember very clearly about that day, about that moment, was desperately wanting to be alone. There's an old Irish saying that goes, "Ní féidir lasabe, wigna atek ernuk." Over the decades, the translations become kind of warm and fuzzy, where most people say it means you're never lonely in an Irish home. But the original and literal translation is, you cannot be alone in an Irish home. Standing room only all the time. And as per usual, in that great Irish way, whenever they gather, the men and women take comfort in separate camps. The women quartered themselves in the parlor where the seating was comfortable and the air a lot more somber. And the men, they took refuge on the back porch, where the only place to sit was Grandma's rocker. And they left it empty, I guess, as a sign of respect. But today I like to think of it as the riderless horse in a proper military funeral. So as lonely as I was, there was nowhere to be alone. After a while, I found myself walking back up the hallway towards her bedroom, fully expecting another battle from Great Uncle John. But when I got to her door, what do you know? She was alone. Luck of the Irish, I guess. Her eyes were closed and she took shallow breaths. I could see she was in pain. I looked back up the hallway just to be sure that no one followed me, and then, "Grandma, are you here?" Nothing. "Grandma, can you hear me? It's Tommy." She opened her eyes as best she could, and then she turned her head so she could see me, and then she smiled. And very gently, She patted the bed next to her. I knew that was my cue to come in and to be with her. So I walked over and stood next to her bed. I didn't know what to do. So I did what she taught me. I took her hand, placed it in my other hand. Very gently patted the back. Just so she'd know everything would be okay.
Hi. Hi. Clyde, got an appointment? She told me to come right in, so I'll come right in. Wow, cool place. Very cool, yeah. Expecting rain? I know, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. Wow, this is cool. You know, I knew I always wanted to be an actor, you know? Yeah. I always felt like I was acting on my job. Yeah. I was a carpenter. Yeah. Yeah, so I put food on the table for me and Ma for more than 25 years, you know. Never liked it, though. Always felt like I was playing the role of a carpenter, you know. Ma liked it. She loved it. Anytime I get down on myself about it, you know, she'd just smile, give me a big hug and say Jesus was a carpenter, and then, yeah, so, I guess I just didn't like, you know, the heavy lifting and the getting all dirty. And I busted up. Look at that. Busted that finger 3 times. Well, I busted it twice. Doctor busted it once. I don't know what the hell that was about. Said he had to make it better, so. So what do we do? I'll just sit for a minute there. Yeah, there you go. How's that? Yeah. I'll wait for you. All right? Don't say nothing. Yeah. Whatever you're... I can fix that for you, you know. I'll just, yeah. Take a second. There you go. Right there. If I have my tools, I can make it even better, you know. I mean, I was a carpenter, did I tell you? Yeah. I was good at it, too. Yeah, I really was. No job too big, too small. I did it all. Worked on schools, houses, dog houses, you name it, I did it. You know, 25 years, a long time on one job. I just didn't like it that much, you know. And it's always that last job that gets you, isn't it? Yeah. Got me. Shouldn't even been doing it, you know. Doing it for free. Doing it for the church, for Christ's sake. No pun intended. Father Riley called me from St. Trivius. That's where me and Ma used to go, you know. Well, I still go there. Ma, she's not with us anymore, so she's in her own church. Yeah. He asked me if I could just fix some of the trim in the vestibule there, rehang one of the doors. Those are big doors, those church doors, you know. But I should have said no. I was just doing so much overtime. I was working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, trying to pay the bills from the funeral and everything, you know, and the hospital costs that weren't covered. But how do you say no to the church? You know, I'd be spinning in her grave. Don't want that. You know. But I told him, yeah, I'd get there early one day and knock it out. And I did. I got there early, got most of the trim work done. Pulled the pins on the door, getting ready to set that up, and the next thing I know, I turn around. Next thing I remember, I'm in a hospital in the emergency room with a 16-penny nail sticking that far out of my chest. 16-penny nails that big. Got that much of it sticking out of my chest. Doctor looks down at me, gives me a wink, and I'm out again, second time that day. Then I come to, I'm in recovery. And this doctor standing there at the foot of the bed doing his doctor thing, going, Looks at me and says, "You're a lucky man, Clyde." And what happened was, you got this chart, wraps around your muscle, you know, and this nail went right through the bone, busted out the back of the bone like shards of glass, turned this muscle into so much brown round, you know, and then went right through there and nicked the heart. Yeah. Guess I was lucky, you know. That's what he told me anyway. And then in the same breath, no more ladders, no hammering, no saws, no heavy lifting. Takes away my entire livelihood and calls me a lucky man. I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm no spring chicken. You know? And if it wasn't for Ma pushing me through high school. I probably never would have graduated that. So I'm a little concerned for my immediate future, you know. But luck being what it is, I met this guy in rehab. You know, we all not that kind of rehab. You know, I'm physically trying to get into it again. You know, he tells me about doing extra work. I mean, it's not like too much work that they got extra. I mean, it's extra, you know. Well, yeah. So he told me about it, tells me to go to this agency, and I figure I'd give it a shot. I go there, I sign up, and guess what? They're always looking for guys my age. And go figure this. This is a good look. Yeah. So I start getting more and more work. You know, don't pay a lot, but that's okay. You know, I can downsize now. I don't need that two-bedroom place that would be in my head. But I start getting more work. And just about this time, I know Ma's taking care of me from above, because I get a call from Father Riley at the church. And he says they feel a little responsible for the accident, you know, and gives me a nice chunk of change from their insurance, of course. So I take a piece of that, pay off all the bills and everything that I can, and put some towards some acting classes, which is good, because I'm starting to get some good feedback from all of these acting teachers and stuff that I'm seeing. The only problem I got with it is there's always 20-somethings in the class. You know what I mean? They call me the old man. You know, to my face. Behind my back, they think I don't hear them. They call me the old fool. You know, but so what? You know, my friends think I'm crazy. That's not new. And so what if I'm an old fool? You know, I'm doing what I love now. I don't think I ever said that out loud. Yeah. And I think Ma'd be proud. I know she would. So that's what brings me to you. I hear you take good pictures.